Today we have to see the windmill made by Isaac Newton. It was not long before his grandmother and all the neighborhood knew that Isaac had been about. He had constructed a model of the windmill, though not so large, I suppose, as one of the box traps which boys set to catch squirrels. Yet every part of the mill and its machinery was complete. Its little sails were nearly made of the linen and wheeled round very swiftly. When the mill was placed in a draught of air, given a puff of the wind from Isaac's mouth or from a pair of bellows, was sufficient to set the sails in motion. And what was the most curious, if a handful of grains of wheat were put into the little hopper, they would soon be converted into a snow white flower. Isaac's playmates were enchanted with his new windmill. They thought that nothing so plenty and so wonderful and ever been seen in the whole world. But Isaac said one of them, "You have forgotten one thing, for belongs to me." "What is that?" asked Isaac, for he supposed that from the roof of the mill to its foundation he had forgotten nothing. "Why, where is the miller?" said his friend. "That is true, I must look out for one," said Isaac, and he set himself to consider how the deficiency should be supplied. Then he might easily have made the miniature figure of a man, but then it would not have been able to move about the perform the duties of a miller. As Captain Lemuel Gulliver had not yet discovered the island of Lilliput, Isaac did not know that there were little men in the world whose size was just suited to that windmill. It so happened, however, that a mouse had just been caught in the trap, and no other miller could be found. Mr. Mouse was appointed to that important office. The new miller made a very respectable appearance in his dark grey coat. To be sure, he had not very good character for honesty and was suspected of something stealing a portion of the grain which was given him to grind, but perhaps some two-legged millers are quite dishonest as the small quadrant. As Isaac grew older, it was found that he had far more important matters in his mind than manufacture of boys. Like little windmill, all the day long it left to him, he was either absorbed in the thought or engaged in some book of mathematics or natural philosophy. At night, I think it probably he looked up with the reverential curiosity to the stars and wondered whether they were words like own work or our own, and how great was that their distance from the earth, and what was the power that kept them in their courses. Perhaps even so early in life, Isaac Newton felt presentiment that he should be able hereafter to answer all their questions. When Isaac was 14 years old, his mother's his mother's second husband being now dead, she wished her to leave school and assist her in managing the farm at Woolsthorpe for a year or two. Therefore, he tried to turn his attention to farming, but his mind was not bent on becoming a scholar. That his mother sent him back to school and afterwards to the University of Cambridge. See here, the Newton made a windmill where, suppose someone has put the grains in the hooper, and when the sails runs, then the grains get grinded to a snow white floor. Then when he grew up, Newton thought that to be busy in such things, that is windmill, clock, is not for himself. So he decided to work on mathematics, he decided to work on philosophy, he decided to work on motion, and then in the same period, his mother asked him to assist her in farming because her second husband died and she was alone. So Isaac Newton left school and joined her in the farming, but though he joined there in farming, but he was not mentally joined there so as to assist her, but his mentality was to take the education, to go to school, then after college, university. On knowing this thing, his mother sent him back to school, and then he was sent to college and Cambridge University. See here, I have now finished my anecdotes of Isaac Newton's boyhood. My story would be far too long were I to mention all the splendid discoveries which he had made. After he came to be a man, he was the first that found out the nature of light. For before his day, nobody could tell what the sunshine was composed of. You remember, I suppose, the story of an apple falling on the head and thus leading him to discover the force of gravitation, which keeps heavenly bodies in their courses. When he had once got hold of that idea, he never permitted his mind to rest until he had searched out all the laws by which the planets are guided through the sky. This he did so thoroughly as if he had gone up among the stars and tracked them in their orbits. The boy had found out the mechanism of the windmill. The man explained to his fellow men mechanism of the universe. While making these researches, he was to spend night after night in a lofty tower, gazing at the heavenly bodies through a telescope. His mind was lifted far above the things of this world. He may be said indeed to have spent a greater part of his life in worlds that lie thousands and millions of miles away, for where the thoughts and the heart are, there is our true existence. Did you never hear the story of Newton and his little dog Diamond? We will look after the story of the dog after completing this one. Here, after the windmill, the Newton engaged himself in other research, other mathematical work. When he was busy in other research, other mathematical work, one day he found that the apple falls from the tree on the ground, and then he thought about the force of gravitation. This gravitational force gave the idea to Newton to discover his three laws of motion and a force of gravitation. Here such type of the life of the Newton that we observe, where he was constantly busy in discoveries, in research, and in finding number of things with the help of science, with the help of nature. Then after Newton made himself very busy in observing the stars with the help of telescope. He was busy there for hours and hours, and he was busy in discovering something with the help of telescope. And now with this I would like to conclude, where we have the information about the windmill, we have the information about the gravitation force, where we have information about these laws of motion and these various observations with the help of telescope. Okay, thank you.